Greetings, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Garzilla. I am a geek who loves many things relating to pop culture, whether it be TV shows, movies, video games, comic books, and so on and so forth. But out of all the things that I have been a fan of, one of my all-time favorites is the iconic Japanese hero, Ultraman. In this video, I will be talking about my own history with the heroes who call themselves Ultraman. Now, without further ado, let me tell you all my Ultraranger story. Part 1. The Birth of an Ultrafan. My story begins in the year 2012, and at that point in my life, I had recently become a fan of Super Sentai, the Japanese franchise that was adapted into Power Rangers. I had heard about Kamen Rider, but I would not get into it until later that year. On one summer evening, a particular YouTube recommendation caught my attention amidst a sea of fan-made music videos I had been watching. The video was called The Real Ultra Brothers, and it was my first exposure to the Ultra series. Aside from it being a really great song, the amazing piece inspired me to seek out some Ultraman content to watch. I was lucky enough to find the two most recent Ultraman movies, Mega Monster Battle Ultra Galaxy and Ultraman Zero the movie, through online means, and not long after that, I found the first Ultraman show on DVD. Not long after that, the tokusatsu news websites I followed had dropped the exciting news that a new Ultraman show was coming out in July of 2013, Ultraman Ginga, and to put it in simple terms, I was immediately on board with the show. The main protagonist was a high schooler, which made him relatable to me as I was also in high school at the time, so I felt like I could relate to him and his friends as we learned about Ultraman together. Unfortunately, this was when things started to go downhill. Ultraman Ginga took a brief hiatus after its 6th episode, and when it eventually returned to air, the fans subtitling the episodes did not continue as they had been. It was around that time I had learned the sad truth, that being mainstream Toku fans did not like Ultraman. Compared to Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, Ultraman was the awkward third wheel, and out of my small group of friends who were into these shows, none of them really gave Ultraman the time of day. Throughout the rest of my time in high school, I would occasionally hear whisperings about Ultraman, like how several seasons were coming to Crunchyroll, the current manga getting translated, and I had even heard about the shows that came after Ginga, such as its sequel, Ginga S, as well as Ultraman X. For so long, I had felt like I was Ultraman's one and only fan, but little did I realize, this was just the beginning. Part 2. The Rise of Ultraranger. During the back half of 2015, I was hanging out for college, and I was thankful to have moved in with some friends of mine who I met from local conventions. I was even able to join them for 2 of their tokusatsu-themed podcasts. The main show was Radio Sentai Cast Ranger, where we would discuss the latest Kamen Rider and Super Sentai episodes and movies, and the second show was Extra Extra Cast Ranger, where we would discuss the news relating to the shows and other things regarding tokusatsu. We still do Cast Ranger to this day, which has spanned over 500 episodes. One weekend in 2016, I was not able to make it for the episode recordings, so I decided to listen to them when they were published. During the episode of Extra Extra, my friends brought up that we were going to get a new Ultraman show, which at the time was Ultraman Orb. However, what they did not realize was that the press photo used for the news article was from Ultraman X the movie, so they mistook Ultraman X's movie form to be Ultraman Orb. I had to inform them all about the misunderstanding, which led me to realize I could talk about Ultraman through the same medium they were using, YouTube videos. My first idea was called Guide to Nebula M78, and it would feature me talking about the latest news regarding Ultraman Orb. But due to my busy schedule at the time, I never got past writing the first episode. In July of the same year, my friends and I did an Ultraman theme month on Cast Ranger, calling it Ultralight, and I showed them different shows and movies from the Ultra series to celebrate Ultraman's 50th anniversary. Out of the other members of the podcast, it was actually my roommate Lane who was interested in watching more, so he decided to watch Ultraman Orb with me. Although my first show never got off the ground, it was nice to have someone to watch episodes with me, and by the time Ultraman Orb was wrapping up, we found out there was going to be a spin-off show exclusively on Amazon Prime, which inspired a new idea. You see, earlier that year, we did a mini-series called Enter the Amazon, wherein we discussed the Amazon Prime show Kamen Rider Amazons, and it got me thinking, what if we did a mini-series for Ultraman Orb The Origin Saga? It took a few months for the show to receive English subtitles, but in May of 2017, it was time to start our new show, Ultraranger. I was the host for the show, and with me as my co-host was my roommate Lane, and two of our online friends, Noble and Crunchman, who were also fans of Ultraman Orb. The main purpose of the show was to watch, examine, and review all 12 episodes of Ultraman Orb The Origin Saga, as well as the most recent mini-series, Ultra Fight Orb. However, by the time we started recording the show, the next Ultraman was about to come out, so I decided to change Ultraranger from a mini-series and turned it into an ongoing show. Noble and Crunchman stepped away from the show, but as time went on, Lane and I were able to make the show our own. This led to us talking about several seasons of Ultraman and other tokusatsu relating to the kaiju genre, such as Ultraman Orb, The Origin Saga, Ultra Fight Orb, Ultraman Geed, Mega Monster Battle Ultra Galaxy, Ultra Galaxy Legend Side Story, Ultraman Zero vs. Darklop Zero, Ultraman Zero the Movie, Super Deciding Battle, The Belial Galactic Empire, Ultraman Zero Side Story, Killer the Beatstar, Ultraman Saga, Ultra Zero Fight, Ultraman Ginga, Ultraman Orb, Ultraman Ginga S, Ultraman Rube, Ultra Fight Victory, Ultraman X, The Original Ultraman, Ultraman Tiga, Ultraman Taiga, Ultra 7, Ultraman Towards the Future, Ultraman Dyna, Ultraman Z, Kaiju Club, Denko Chojin Gridman, SSSS Gridman, Godzilla King of the Monsters 1956, Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019, the first episode of Mirror Man, Godzilla vs. Biollante, Ultra Galaxy Fight New Generation Heroes, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Ultra Galaxy Fight The Absolute Conspiracy. Despite the infrequent release schedule of Ultraranger, Lane and I had fun doing the show. In fact, some of our fans from Cast Ranger decided to start watching Ultraman because of our show. As the late 2010s became the early 2020s, Tsuburaya Productions regained the international rights to the first 6 seasons of the Ultra series, which led to new Blu-ray box sets, a new comic book series from Marvel, and the newest seasons being available for free on YouTube with subtitles. We had a fun time doing Ultraranger, but all good things must come to an end. Part 3. The Rejuvenation. After 4.5 years of doing Ultraranger, Lane and I decided it was time to end the show. We were both moving on with our lives and would no longer be roommates, so we finished the majority of the last season over Discord, with the last 3 episodes being the exception. Now, even though our show was coming to an end, that did not mean I was done talking about Ultraman online. With Lane's permission, I could continue the show without him, and during the later half of 2021, I started doing prep work on the upcoming 5th season, which was going to be called The Ultraranger. The show was going to follow the same formula, but it would now be scripted and include more production notes, as I loved learning about behind the scenes from movies and shows. Unfortunately, just like Ultraman, time was not on my side. Days started to become weeks. Weeks turned into months. And before I knew it, we were already halfway through 2022. I spent an entire year working on the Ultraranger, and I had nothing to show for it. It bothered me so much, I called Lane one summer morning and I told him I just wanted to quit talking about Ultraman. Lane told me to do what I thought was right, so after ending the call, I went out for a walk. After coming back from that walk, I decided I would start a new show while I worked on the Ultraranger. This new show would be like Ultraranger, but instead of watching multiple shows, it would solely focus on the currently airing seasons. If the show was just Lane and I, then we would just be doing more Ultraranger, which was not what I wanted to do. Well, remember how I said some of our fans started watching Ultraman? Well, we all became really good friends over the years, and they wanted in on the new show. And thus, a new chapter had begun, and the new show would be called Ultra Galaxy Chat, which, of course, is a reference to Ultra Galaxy Fight. Not long after that, Lane and I found out that one of the shows that we wanted to talk about, Ultraman Cosmos, was finally coming out on DVD through Milk Creek. In fact, it was during a Cast Ranger recording session that Lane asked me if I would be interested in doing a sequel to Ultraranger, where we would talk about Cosmos, which I immediately said yes to. By 2023, I was working on the backlog of Ultra Galaxy Chat and also recording episodes of our new show, Ultraranger Cosbros. So as you can see, I have had a long journey with the Ultra series, starting out as a new fan in 2012 to slowly becoming the Zoffy in my group of friends who talk about Ultraman with me. Now granted, in 2024, we recorded more episodes of both Ultra Galaxy Chat and Cosbros, but with my busy schedule, I never got around to uploading a single episode. However, that is going to change, and it starts here with this video. If I'm going to start uploading episodes again, I have to do two things: create a brand new YouTube channel dedicated to Ultraranger, and have the first video be a fully scripted introductory video to explain what Ultraranger is, since it's been around for roughly 8 years. Now sure, some of the episodes may be dated since we recorded them as the shows were coming out, but I enjoy talking about Ultraman with my friends, and I hope you all enjoy listening to us talk about this beloved franchise. I hope to see you all next time, and until then, schwa for now.